As we're right around the corner from version 2.4 of Zenless Zone Zero, information surrounding Dialyn and her strength for any player's account is making the typical rounds of hype across practically every major Hoyoverse partner who has access to her on the private servers. She seems to have it all really. Stun extensions, stun multipliers, and a new mechanic exclusive to her that lets her effectively activate a teammate's ultimate without the necessity of the decibel system, going a step further than what Jafufu had to offer when it came to having a direct effect on an agent's ultimate frequency. I was already planning on pulling for Dialyn simply off of her design alone, and after having watched her recently released animated teaser and seeing that her personality leans closer to the more insane elements of ZZZ's world like Bernice once did, only further strengthens my desire to get her. Now, I hate to be the one to ruin everyone's anticipation, but I am left very concerned with the possibility of Dialyn being a straight upgrade over every other stun agent in the game when she finally arrives if there isn't some last minute balancing before the patch goes live. I would even go as far to say that Dialyn's perceived value to anyone's account may just even compete with Ye Shangwang, but I'm putting the cart way before the horse with that prediction, so I'll leave that alone to settle for another day. Meta-defining characters are nothing new. We've had plenty already in previous game versions. But this conversation starts to take on a new layer of complications when stronger limited characters begin outdoing the existing strong limited characters in what I would refer to as the Powercreep Ouroboros. Take Acheron from Honkai Star Rail as a prime example. Her inclusion broke the previous meta ceiling for the game, influenced future endgame content balanced around her, made the previous strong contenders less and less viable, and then proceeded to get left behind herself in the perpetual cycle of raising the power ceiling again anyway. In ZZZ as of right now, it's safe to assume Ying Shangwang's inclusion will form the ceiling across all three DPS archetypes, and the support category has already established its own ceiling as well with Lucia, but neither one have yet to add a new addition that would breach said ceiling. However, when we look over to the stun agents, if Dialyn truly is considered the new best-in-slot agent for every team composition in the game, then we're looking at the start of the Powercreep Ouroboros. It's one thing when Xingyi got outdone by Lighter, Trigger, and Jafufu, but it's a completely different story when the three characters that outdid the previous agent get outdone themselves by another new agent. Now, if Hoyoverse wants to sell players on another future stun agent, that agent would need to either match Dialyn in power, go above her, or offer something in return that no one else in the roster can provide, which in most cases will just result in the latter anyway and go above Dialyn. And this will of course result in the usual symptoms following something like that. So am I just doom posting about a far-flung future for Zenless Zone Zero? Yes and no actually. The ZZZ team already has a solution for this problem, the direct character buffing that they've done in the past and are continuing to work on, as well as the new power-up system mentioned in the version 2.5 dev talk. So long as the ZZZ team can continue to offer buff opportunities for older agents to ensure their endgame viability, then it shouldn't be too much of an issue. With that being said, however, it all comes down to said ZZZ team delivering buffs that are effective in boosting an agent's performance and doing so within an appropriate time frame. In my opinion, Xingyi should be the next agent to receive confirmed buffs. As a character who debuted as far back as version 1.1 when the dynamic of stun agents was practically a completely different design philosophy to what we have now in ZZZ, it only seems right that her kit is brought up to speed to how the game is played currently. And while Caesar definitely needs it more, it'll be much easier to nail down what the petite police officer needs to breathe life back into her. If there's anything to take away from this video, it's that Dialyn, at least in my opinion, is the early signs of a potential never-ending loop of replacing top characters over and over again reminiscent of Honkai Star Rail. And while there will always be the potential for a player's skill expression to come out on top against all odds, we've already been shown Hoyoverse's willingness to improve older agents in Zenless Zone Zero far more generously than its other two games. And wouldn't it just be preferable to not find a workaround for a developer's problem and for them to simply fix it for you?